Hi everyone, welcome back. So, I welcome you all to this wonderful series where we are going to be reading the textbook, NCRT textbook line by line. It is going to be very much beneficial for all of us because whenever we feel very tired or something, we can just watch this video, we can just take our books and just hear the lines of NCRT and make that time useful as well. So today I'm going to be starting off with this chapter, chemical coordination and integration. So let's get started with it. We are going to do line by line, and you can also mark down all the important points from the NCRT textbook. So starting off with the introduction, you have already learned that the neural system provides a point-to-point rapid coordination among the organs. So the neural coordination is fast, but it is going to be a short-lived one, as the nerve fibers do not intervade all the cells of the body and the cellular functions needs to be continuously regulated. A special kind of coordination and integration has to be provided. This function is carried out by the hormones. The neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinate and regulate the physiological functions in the body. So you can underline this one. The neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinates and regulates the physiological function in the body. Now, moving ahead, we are going to be seeing the endocrine glands and the hormones. Endocrine glands are what type of glands? So these glands lack the ducts and are hence called as the ductless gland. Okay, so endocrine glands lack the ducts and are called as the ductless glands. Now these secretions are going to be called as hormones. The classical definition of the hormones as a chemical produced by endocrine glands and released into the body and transported to a distantly located target organ has current specific definition as follows. So this is the definition that I'm going to read it right now. So what is the definition? Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messengers and produced in trace amounts. Means they are going to be produced in very less amount, and most importantly you need to remember this word that hormones are non-nutrient chemicals. They do not have nutrients, and where they are going to act as the intercellular, so between two cells it is going to act as a messenger. Okay, now next, if you consider the new definition covers a number of new molecules in addition to the hormones secreted by the organized endocrine glands. You have now understood that endocrine glands are going to be ductless glands. They are not going to that is, they don't have ducts, and most importantly their secretions will be directly given in the blood itself. Okay, so body fluids basically. So now next one, let's start with it. So invertebrates possess very simple endocrine system with a few hormones, whereas a large number of chemicals act as hormone and provides coordination in the vertebrates. You know, vertebrates are very complex organisms. Next, we are going to see the human endocrine system is described here in the next page. We'll see. So I hope the first page was very clear, and these are all the important points from the first page. Next, we are going to start up with a very important topic, that is the human endocrine system. So we are going to study about all the different organs and everything in this particular part. So let's study. So first and foremost, the endocrine glands and hormones producing diffused tissues or cells located in different parts of our body constitute the endocrine system. What are the endocrine system that we are going to discuss in this textbook? We are going to see pituitary and pineal gland, then thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, parathyroid gland, next is thymus, next is gonads. Gonads will include testes in males and ovaries in females. Okay, are the organized endocrine bodies in our body. Now, in addition to this, some other organs like gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney, heart also produce the hormones. Okay, so these are also the hormone producing organs like the liver, kidney, heart and gastrointestinal tract. Now, a brief account of the structure and the functions of all the major endocrine glands and the hypothalamus of the human body is given in the following section. So, starting off with, first we are going to start with the hypothalamus gland. Okay. So, as you know, the hypothalamus is the basal part of diencephalon that is present in the forebrain. So, you need to remember a lot of things over here. That is, hypothalamus is going to be present as the basal part of the diencephalon. First important point, where is going to be the hypothalamus present? Basal part of diencephalon. Which part of the brain? Forebrain it is going to be present, and it regulates a wide spectrum of body function. Very important, basal part of the diencephalon it is present, and second part is nothing but forebrain it is going to be present. Now, it contains several groups of neurosecretory cells called as nuclei, which produce the hormones. So, it consists of neurosecretory cells called as nuclei, which produces the hormone. Now, these hormones regulate the, what does it regulate? Synthesis and secretion of the pituitary hormones. So, what are the hormones that are going to be released by the pituitary? It is going to be regulated by the hypothalamus. Okay, so this point is also very important. Now, however, the hormones produced by the hypothalamus are of two different types. Okay, so the hormones produced by the hypothalamus are of two different types. One is going to be called as releasing hormone, that is which stimulate the secretion of the pituitary hormones, and the second one is the inhibitory hormones, which inhibit the secretion of the pituitary hormones. So, there are two different types of hormones present. One is going to be the releasing hormone, another one is going to be the inhibitory hormone. Releasing hormone means this is going to regulate the pituitary gland, that is stimulate the secretions of the pituitary gland. We are going to be seeing later on in this chapter that in pituitary gland what are the hormones that are released from there. So, there are two different types of hormones released by the hypothalamus. One is the releasing hormones that acts upon the pituitary, and inhibiting hormones that will inhibit the secretion of the pituitary. Okay, that is going to oppose the secretions made by the pituitary. Okay, so releasing and inhibitory. For example, a hypothalamic hormone called as the gonadotrophin releasing hormone, GnRH. Okay, so that is a gonadotrophin releasing hormone, stimulate the pituitary synthesis and release of the gonadotrophin. Yes, so all the gonadotrophins, that is nothing but, if you consider, it is going to be the pituitary gland is going to be secreting the hormones that is going to act upon the testes in male and the ovary in female. So, the hypothalamus is going to be acting upon the pituitary so that it will release these gonadotrophins. So, on the other hand, somatostatin, so this is a new one. So, on the other hand, the somatostatin from the hypothalamus inhibits the release of the growth hormone from the pituitary. So, you know that the growth hormone is going to be released by the pituitary. Now, as a example of inhibitory hormone, somatostatin is going to be released from the hypothalamus so that the growth hormone will not be released by the pituitary. Now, these hormones originate in the hypothalamic neurons. These hormones, okay, and pass through the axon and are released from the nerve ending. So, basically we have to consider the axon structure, that is nothing but the neural cell. Okay, so the neural cell you need to consider. We will be having the dendrites, we will be having the cytoplasm, we will be having the axon, we will be having the nerve endings. So, this is how all the hypothalamic neurons, that is hormones originating in the hypothalamic neurons, will pass through that particular neural cell. Now, these hormones reach the pituitary gland through a portal circulatory system and regulate the function of the anterior pituitary. Important thing, that is this hormones. These hormones means your regulatory hormones or inhibiting hormones, if you consider, they reach the pituitary gland through a portal circulatory system. You need to understand there is going to be a portal circulatory system, and that regulates the function of which part of the pituitary, anterior, because we are going to be having anterior pituitary also, posterior pituitary also, but here they are talking about the anterior pituitary. Be very clear, be very focused on that particular point. Okay, the posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulation of the hypothalamus. So, they have also mentioned over here what is going to happen to the posterior pituitary. So, anterior pituitary, it is going to be regulated by the hypothalamic